All right. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is day 3, actually day 7, right? Part 3 of the power of content marketing. And this is going to be a great one, guys. We already talked about products. We already talked about, and I'm going to assume you already have your copy together, and now we want to get out there into the market. And what kind of pricing should we do is in these products that we want to put out there that you took your time to create, and you took your time to put everything together. You put your website together within Builderall, and now is about that time to go out there and showcase, bring in those customers, and it's going to be a super great experience for you. I'm sure you're going to go out there and educate everyone. You're going to make really good money as well, okay? So let's get right into it, guys. I don't want to waste your time. And if you haven't seen part 1 of the power of content marketing or part 2 of content marketing, stop, go into and watch the first one, watch the second one, so you don't get kind of like, left behind, I should say, in the entire content and marketing sessions that we did, okay? So remember, guys, now let's get into it now. I just want you to just 100% get confident in yourself, get that power within you, because you can do anything, guys. And I'm not going to motivate you. I'm not going to do anything of that sort. I'm not one of those motivational speakers, but I want you to feel the power that you have. And this is what's all about. If you go through all of these lessons that we're putting out there, there's no way that you're not going to feel at least confident in moving forward. Okay. So I'm going to assume that you already have your product, that you already have your copy in place, and now we're going to talk about pricings, and and this is just my suggestions that you can use moving forward to create awareness out there in the market and ring in some money. Okay, so I'm going to break into 3 different levels. If you are an excellent copywriter, or if you hired an excellent copywriter, let me just go in here and mute this. There we go. Okay. If you are an excellent copywriter, this is what I want you to do, okay? And remember, I'm going to break it down to 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to start with if you're an excellent copywriter, or if you outsource an excellent copywriter for your product, okay? What will be the pricing point if you are an excellent copywriter, right? So the way I would do things, let's say if the product is under $100, if your product is under $100 and you're an excellent copywriter, I will suggest that you use, in terms of sales, going in to push your product into the market, you will use a long form sales letter with bumps and opt-ins. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again. You go in terms of a long form sales letter, and you're going to have bumps and opt-ins. So when you have your sales letter, make sure you put a long form sales letter, because remember, the copy is amazing. You're using copy, and you're an excellent copywriter. That means you're going to convey, you're going to persuade, you're going to, remember, use all these powers, put it within your copy, and you're going to go into a long form sales with bumps and opt-ins and upsells, okay? If your product is $100 to $1,000, okay, you're going to use still long form sales letter. And remember, you're an excellent copywriter. If you're not, this isn't for you yet. I'll get to you. If you're an excellent copywriter and your product is within $100 to $1,000, you're going to use a long form sales letter with a 2-step order form. With the 2-step order form, that means you can go into put your sales letter out there in the copy, and then I have a letter with a 2-step form in terms that you're going to get as much information there from the clients as possible, and hopefully within your follow-up through, whether it's through your email or whether it's to somebody getting a consultation as well after they buy your product. And I'm just really thinking in general here, okay? You're going to use long form sales letter with a 2-step order form, okay? And then to get to the checkout. If you're using the checkout, guys, make sure you use the super checkout in Builderall. It is amazing, okay? Now, if you are an excellent copywriter and your product is over $1,000, say $1,200 to $1,300, you're going to do a webinar. I don't want you to use a long form sales letter and none of that. There's going to be no long form sales letter. And this is just my opinion. Anything over $1,000, it has to be video, okay? And if you're an excellent copywriter, you're going to do a webinar, right? A webinar. Now, instead of putting your long form sales letter in a copy right there, I want you to then do a video. Then you can actually put your copy in there, but make sure you're in the video or you're either reading it on the teleprompter or you're recording your screen and you still have your video in there where they can see you. And you're going then go one by one, even if you may be using the Keynote app in your Mac, or however you used to do a webinar. Or I would just say my personal favorite, it will be the Builderall, right? Or the webinar within Builderall. Use that app and you'll be able to do your webinar. Because this is why, guys, and I really, before we start moving forward, this is why you're going to need to persuade, you're going to need to sell, you're going to have to get them involved, you're going to have to describe what the product is, you're going to have to get people involved, you're going to have people engaged, you're going to have to persuade them, ask them questions. I will personally just don't do, I would do a live webinar, just so you let you know, I would do a live webinar. And then maybe do a live webinar, just like I do these sessions right here. I'll do every day just to get really, really good at it, right? And then perfect it for like a week. And then if you want to automate them later on, go ahead. If you want to do a, evergreen webinar, go ahead. But I will personally do, I will do every webinar live because I want to end with a lot of Q&As and get as much, questions answered, if there are any rejections or something that they didn't understand. Because sometimes we get in here and we start talking to this camera and some people, they may be nervous. And then even if you're reading out of the teleprompter, or if you're just, showing them what you're saying, the copy of it, right, of that webinar. And remember, I'm going to assume, remember, your copywriting is excellent. Okay, you're going to have to then, just make sure you're going to have to answer as many questions, because at the end of the day, when you do your CTA, your call to action to get everyone to buy it, there's not going to be anything in terms of like, I would say rejection, or nobody's like, not know what the product is. And this is not about, guys, I'm not talking about stacking, for bonuses or any of that to get people to, push them into buying. I'm just talking about pricing here, okay? This is not a webinar session or how to convey a webinar, okay? I'm just giving my perspective in terms of pricing, or what kind of, what should you do in terms of sell that product. I would, once again, if anything over $1,000, just don't put a copy out there. It has to be video sale. I would suggest a webinar within Builderall, and then you can use, like however you want to convey there in your way to selling, I think is unique. Your brand voice, use it, okay? So that is, remember, and I'll just go one more time before I move on to the next point, to the next level. If you're an amazing copywriter, an excellent copywriter, and anything under $100, it will be a long form sales letter with bumps and opt-ins. If it's $100 to $1,000, I will still use a long form sales letter with a 2-step order form. Okay. Now, if it's over $1,000, I will go with a webinar and then really just sell yourself. And you have to be like, the sales guy. This is like your show, right? So don't just go with a copy, there, and I would suggest sell everything in the webinar. So what about, Brad, if I'm not, if I'm not this excellent copywriter, or I did not outsource an amazing copywriter to have my copies there for me, right? So if the product is $100, if your product is $100, this is the next level, right? If your product is $100 and you are okay copywriter, you're not an excellent, but you're okay, and your product is $100, I will go with a VSL. Once again, I will go with a VSL with two-step order form. You can then also use order bumps and upsells, right? But I will use a VSL. And those using a VSL, guys, use a teleprompter, and just really try to convey. I would suggest a little bit of video there, because if you're not that great of a writer, I'm going to try to at least use a little bit of video. It does not have to be a webinar, okay, on this one, okay? Because this is not a product that is really anything over $1,000, okay? We're just talking about if it's under $100. Just use a VSL copy with a two-step order form on your website, and you can do your upsells from there. But I will still suggest the hero video, right? Selling the product on video as well. And you can read in the teleprompter, or you can do, however you do your pre-video, but does not have to be a live webinar. You're not just trying to really spend 1 or 2 hours trying to break limited self-beliefs or how people perceive the product, or, getting, your stack out there to make sure they have the best price and the best bonuses. It's not about that. It's just really getting a quick VSL. It's under $100, and use a two-step order form. Now, if you're still a fair writer, a copywriter, or if you hired a fair copywriter and the product is $100 to $1,000, then now we're talking about anything over $100. You're still gonna have to then convey people a little bit more than ever, and a lot of people are skeptical. And I wouldn't leave just to be a hero video out there by itself. Then I will go live. Okay, then in that case, anything over $100, I'm going live. Even if it's 150, 200, 300 to 1,000, I'm going live. And because one, I'm not an amazing copywriter, I'm just a fair one. And then anything over, 150 going up, or to 100 to 1,000, I'm gonna try to do this a live thing, and that I would go with a webinar. In my case, I would go with a webinar with two-step order form, okay, on my website, okay? Just to continue the conversation, or if I wanna put any upsells in there, like however you wanna do in terms of bumps, just to get in that, if you buy this, here's a little extra of this, right? That extra kick, just to get them over the edge to the sale, to the checkout point, the super checkout there on your Builderall page. So remember, guys, if I'm a fair copywriter, $100 to 1,000, I'm going with a webinar live, just like I'm doing here. That's where I feel the most comfortable, and that's what I would do, okay? If you're a fair copywriter, we're still in the fair zone here. You're not that great, and now it's over $1,000. Your product is over $1,000. You have a retreat. You're doing a master class. You're doing whatever you're doing that's over $1,000. And you're a fair copywriter. Do not do anything other than go live, a webinar with two-step order form. The same if it were from 100 to 1,000. But still going over that cross line of 1,000, I would suggest still, if you're a fair copywriter, we'll go with a webinar, a live webinar. I would say now, this webinar, guys, this is not just, you're not selling anything for between, $100 to $500, so almost out to 1,000. I would say do at least a 2-hour webinar breaking self-beliefs, breaking all of the, you know, the questions that they may have, objections, because it's going to take at least an hour into the webinar to really get even people comfortable with the idea of even buying, pulling their wallet into buy anything over $1,000. And what I'm going to add to this one, guys, on the webinar as well, once you're done with the webinar and you do that two-step order form, the only thing that changes between this, the 100 to 1,000, I'm talking about now to anything over 1,000. Remember, I don't want to lose you here. If you're doing 100 to 1,000, do a webinar with two-step order form, right? Now, if you're going to do anything over 1,000, still do the webinar with a two-order form, but also on the checkout system, you know, also have, just in case somebody opts out, because it's super hard these days to get somebody just to get their wallet and give you that anything over 1,000, you're going to have a system in place, you know, with a major follow-up and also a salesperson to give them a call. Just to say, hey, you know, I noticed that you saw Brad's webinar on this retreat coming up or the product. Is there anything that I can answer even further? You know, in order to get them, you're going to have, I would put salespeople in place to follow up with everyone that is watching, that watched the webinar, you know, and they left their phone number there. I would even ask for the phone number, you know, not just email. And remember, I would do a retargeting on everyone that watched that webinar. I would do a retargeting on them, and then run ads. Just create a, you know, an audience there, you know, a lookalike audience on Facebook ads, and then run my advertisement with everyone that came to the webinar. And make sure, guys, make sure to have your pixels, everything there in your website, so we get the data and we're able to create a custom lookalike audience on Facebook and run retargeting for those people that came to a webinar. And then you can also, guys, depend, you know, how you feel about things. I always remember, again, anything over 1,000, make sure you get a sales team, whether it's going to be yourself, your spouse, your cousin, or your mother, whoever uses a sales team. Pick up the phone. This is a product that needs, you're going to have, not even, you're going to need a live webinar, but you're also going to need pick up the phone and have some kind of interaction with them. If you don't have a phone, guys, be like, I'm available for a Skype call. Anybody would like to get on a Skype call or a Zoom meeting, just like I'm doing here. I'm using Zoom for us to come together here today and me to give you this message. I would then say, guys, I'm doing a Zoom meeting for anyone that may have any questions, or, you know, the sales team, you know, send them an email. Because remember, if they only give the email and not the phone number, I'm still going to get my sales team to say, can we get them on the call on a Zoom meeting for us to then kind of like convey them and see whatever we can do to close the sale, guys, and bring them in. So I'm going to tell you, it's going to be at least 1 or 2 or maybe 3 touch points, anything being sold over $1,000 on the internet. Because remember, getting somebody's credit card, for them to really believe in the product, to get that, you know, credit card in there, I would say maybe 2 to 3 touch points with a sales team. It will help you even further. And this, guys, remember, you're just a fair copywriter, right? Now, if you are extremely poor in terms of writing any copy at all, guys, I would suggest, and remember, this is the 3rd level, I would suggest right now for you to maybe to go all these medium platforms out there, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, you know, Instagram, really kind of like look for copywriters out there, and maybe go on a copywriter shopping spree in terms of like, let's look at what they're charging for, you know, for them creating you either a sales copy, you know, for your webinar or anything of that. Like, look for somebody that's really good at copywriting. But if you don't have the money, and remember, I'm trying to cover all entire levels here. Let's say you're just somebody who's got a great idea. All you have is either your iPhone or your webcam and a desktop, and you have, you know, you have a great product and you want to put it out there. You spent all your money. You got the subscription with Builderall. You created everything in there, but you have everything but the copywriter, guys. And let's say let's go to the price point now. If anything, and this, if you're a horrible copywriter, anything under 100, guys, this is what I just say, guys, rethink your entry point. You're going to have to rethink your entry point because you don't know, okay, if you put a copy out there that's not that great, you're not going to get any sales. If you hire somebody that's great, okay, but remember, at this point in time, we're talking about that you don't have any money. So what should we do? In that case, it's a really tricky question because I would say for me, if I'm a horrible copywriter, I would take a chance on just then doing, you know, a hero video in the beginning, you know, a hero video. And for those who know what a hero video is when somebody goes to your product's landing page, the first thing they see is your video sales letter, you know, and then if you have a VA sale with, you know, your teleprompter there, you could, you know, read off the teleprompter, or if you're just doing, you know, a pre-recorded webinar on it and you have your VA sale, you know, uploaded there, you could just then screenshot your video with yourself. Remember, you always got to be on your video, especially if you're not an amazing copywriter. But then what you suggest, if you're not going to write anything in terms of copy, show them what the product is, share your screen, and give a tour of the website. Give a tour of the product. Just like, remember, I'm going to assume you're a horrible copywriter, but you have an amazing idea and you already have an amazing website. Then just do a screen share, recording the video there, and you're still on the video. And now you're just going to give a tour of your product, the website, and even maybe you can do an educational video, how you even created the website, you know, and so forth. However you want to do, just keep the conversation going. You're only trying to sell something under $1,000 here. So I'm going to go with this one, guys. Under $100, a hero video, a video sales letter, and a super to the point. Maybe give a tour of the product, convey what the product is all about, and then just ask the CTA, right? Call to action, click below to get this product. Do a super without friction, you know, but just get to the point. Now, what would be the pricing point, Brad, if I'm still a horrible copywriter? My product is between $100 to $1,000. What would I do? I would go with same thing that we did with the $100, but I would then just add another layer into it. Now, it's still going to be, no, this is not going to be a sales letter. I wouldn't go with that. I would go with a webinar. Remember, I would go with a webinar, a live webinar. Now, in this live webinar, I would then give the tour of the site. Remember, because I have horrible copywriting skills. I would go with a tour of the website, a tour of the product, and convey and talk what the product is all about. And remember, now you got to even sell people, convey them, and spend 2 hours on this, guys. Do not go anything less than 2 hours, because I'm telling you, for even people to believe what you're doing, to convey them, break the self-belief, and then just get them to the point, even where they even thinking about buying your product. I would suggest, guys, using the live webinar, 2 hours in, also with a phone call afterwards, okay? With a phone call option afterwards to have your sales team at least reach out to them after the webinar, just in case if some of them is just reality. Even with the best salespeople, people are going to get out of the webinar, or people are just going to be in for the webinar and then just get to the point where the Q&A part is and ask their question, and hopefully you be answering correctly and you're honest. And then they're going to rethink, maybe right now is not for me. Maybe next week it is. Then some people might say, you know, is there a price option in here? You know, because anything from 100 to 1,000, maybe they say, look, if it's 1,000, can we break it down to 2 parts of $500? I'll pay $500 here today. And then, you know, you can, maybe you can run a subscription on PayPal, and then you charge them another $500 automatically, you know, to your card, if they, you know, log into opt into a subscription, and then you charge their card another $500 within maybe 2 weeks from now, you know, however you want to work it out. But if you give to that option on the page, so then let's go even a little bit further. I'm just brainstorming right now, right? And I would maybe then go for the webinar, already have a sales team follow up, have the pics already going there to run a retargeting advertisement for everyone that came into the video, to the live webinar. And I will also have an option, exit point, when they try to log out of the thing, maybe a pop, I will say, hold on a second, you know, is there a price option that you want to do, right? Or either can even talk about the price option. Hey guys, if you guys are not ready, I totally understand. You know, we're not going anywhere. We have an amazing product. I really believe in my product, and you may not, you know, come in today, but you may come in, you know, like down the road, or however you want to say it. But I'll say, look, I just want to say this. If you're on the fence right now because of the price, guys, look, I'll work with you. Like, you know, if you believe in the product, I believe in you. And I want you for the long haul on this one. I'll give you guys for a $500 option, a 2-payment option. You can pay $500 here to get started on the class. And the class, guys, starts immediately. I'll give you guys the URL, and you're able to start week 1. Whether if you're doing a 6-week thing, you can say you can start week 1. Even if it's a retreat, guys, let them put the deposit in. Let them put the first deposit in, because once they put the first deposit in, you already know that they have a deposit. But if you're going to do these kind of things, guys, make sure you either do a refund policy, and if you're going to do a refund policy and you are giving refunds in your product, make sure you convey the policy there as well, right? Talk to them, guys. Look, I so believe in my product, I can guarantee you guys, you know, like you put like 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, however you want to do it. Or if something that you like, it's so digital that you feel like it's such a good product that people are going to pirate all over the internet. And the moment they get, you know, their hands on the information is so good that they're just going to put it all over the internet. Then you can maybe do a product, and now it's happening now. People are paying attention to things. People are like, you know what? Dude, I'm spending all this time giving all this information and putting so much information out there, and people are buying a product and they're just distributing online, you know, on YouTube or whatever it is. I would say then just do a product, and people are coming to this realization, digital. They're like, you know what? I'm not giving refunds. It's just like, it's so good. And if you really, really just want to be one of those persons, because there's going to be people out there that just buy the product and then they're going to ask for a refund. That's what they do. They're like, let me get this information and I'll get a refund. So me personally, if I'm going to do a product that's amazing and it's information, I know it's going to, once they get it, it's going to spread out there online. I'm going to, maybe do a product that it's not about refunds, right? Okay. So, and the third one, anything, guys, what I should do in terms of like, also just make sure you have your sales team there. But now let me give you an idea, guys. And I wrote it here on the wall, and I really can't see. I'm gonna have to bring that here. So just give me a second. I have to bring this in for 1 second because I want to really push it. Because if you say, Brad, what about if I'm selling this great product and now it gets out there online? Okay, you make the money, Brad, because you're not getting the refund back. You're not asking for a refund. There's no refund policy. But what about the product that's out there? Now, what about everyone that comes in? You make the point of entry and you make the, the front end sale. But how are you going to keep making money? Because by the time, somebody else comes in, that information may be on YouTube. So how are you going to keep monetizing the product? So you're going to have guys at that point in time create an extension of the product, right? So let me just grab my my thing here real quick, and I'll open my board here for you, right? And let me just get this off the wall real quick. And I'm only just gonna go over this for a second, just in case for those of you asking questions. If my product is that good, Brad, and now there's no refund policy, I make it on the front end, but I know I'm gonna lose all my information out there online because people are gonna share it. How do I monetize then the brand product moving forward? So then, guys, this is where you come in. Maybe like, for example, for 16 Days of Power, if that was a product out there that I was selling and I feel what I'm giving the information is really, really good, and people get this video on Facebook and they upload it to YouTube, they share with their friends, but I'm saying, let's say if I was charging for this, so then I had to find another way to not really depend in terms of like these kind of videos, because I know it's going to be, I'm going to get lucky in the terms of like the front end, and I'm always going to have that coming in either way, meaning like this. I'll make some of the front end, but I know it's not going to be as much because all the information is already out there online, or torrent sites for that matter. Then I will have to then start thinking about a Power Live event. I would then start saying, okay, but I don't have the money to really book an event that much. Because I can remember, yeah, all this money that's coming in, I want to reinvest into the brand. I don't want to go right now and rent a physical place, whether it's a hotel. I would suggest anybody in the beginning trying to do an event, do a really small hotel, or you can even say, guys, I'm thinking about doing this Power Live event. I'm going to be in this kind of city, and I'm really going to be a small place. Or maybe go to schools, right? I would suggest, guys, this is a super amazing idea. Anybody out there starting out with a product and you really want to get some audience in there, ask if you can go to school and give like a free information, a free event there, and you document the entire event just to get your feet wet. You can then use it later for a master class that you can then use this as an extension of what's out there. That means like you're going to create another site that's got, all right, you guys got the 16 days of power, but what about if you guys want to check out the Power Live event, that I did with this amazing audience? And that amazing audience is going to be super cheering for you. And it's going to be all these either college kids or inner city kids. You go to the YMCAs, just educate them. And they'll be super thankful, and they're going to be super, elated that you're there. And the energy in the room is going to be super great. And it's going to convey that in the video. And when you put that in the video out there for sales, say, look, the Power Live event happened. It was amazing. Look at all these amazing people that were out there. You're exchanging information. They're giving you the energy, and it's going to look amazing on video. Now, or, you can just then go the route of doing a Power Live event and do it virtually. Do a virtual Power Live event. And then maybe you could bring 1 or 2 people that maybe, that took part on the progress of creating that video, or somebody that you trust. Or in that matter, what I would do if I was doing a Power Live event virtual, and I'm not actually going to either a school or educate for free or anyone, or I'm not creating a product out of it in terms of live, meaning being at a physical place or location, I would then have maybe 3 people that are super amazing experts. They don't have to have huge names. Just somebody there that's usually great on the topic of the product. So if it was in my case for 16 Days of Power, I would then create a Power Live event virtually and invite, because we have the power of persuasion, the power of perception. I would maybe get somebody in terms of psychology wise that is, maybe it's got a license in psychology, right? Because I always tell you guys that marketers like us, me, you, yes, you watching right now, we're psychologists without a license. Because everything at the end of the day, the call to action is get somebody to convey them, to get their money, to buy our products, to become customers, to believe in us, to grow with our brand, right? Because we have to push sales. So I would then just have somebody that it really creates credibility into what you're saying. So I would interview maybe a psychologist on the power of persuasion, right? Because I'm going to give you my perspective on the, the power of persuasion on one of these lessons that are going to be coming up. But I'll also will ask maybe a psychologist with a license that does this for a living, and she's already ran through many of her patients, and clients. And I would maybe just affirm what I was saying, or maybe she would add another element into it and make the Power Live event amazing. And they will have that doctor name, right? Dr. Amanda, and her thing is like psychology. And we're going to talk about the power of persuasion in there. And then we got Dr. Carlos, and we're going to talk about the power of perception and all this. And maybe three doctors. That's what I would go with. I'm just brainstorming live right now on the camera. And that will be my Power Live event for the 16 Days of Power. And I wouldn't have to, and then I'll record everything, and it will be a product, and then I'll put into the editing then afterwards, polish it, the graphics, break it down into modules, module 1, module 2. I'll maybe spend 2 hours or an hour, talking to these 3 individuals that I asked to be, guests on the Power Live. And then I will break it down to maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 modules. And then you can also do a promo for it. Everything comes to life in the post-production, right? You can create a promo for your event. You get highlights, the best moments of the conversation, get people excited. And then I'm just going to assume that you know how to do a product launch. There are many experts out there and products, they'll take you step by step how to do a product launch, right? So you can use them to learn how to do a awesome product launch. Eric is one of them. Eric loves doing product launches. And if you're a part of the agency, you know, with Builderall there, we already went over the product launch. I think we did 3 days of product launch with Eric. So that would be what I would do. Then my second one, remember, because once I get the Power Life thing, I have a whole new product that's not out there yet, right? And what I'm also going to add to this thing as well, I'm going to add a live call or some sort, you know, like a live coaching. That means that you come to Power Live event, it's virtually, you can log in, and then, or I'll record everything, you know, and then I'll also create an extended product out of it that's more polished with graphics, everything. And then I'll even put out there in times when I'm going to sell it, I will put something along the lines also, if you buy it, it will become also a live session every other 2 to 3 days. Because that way, you know, we'll give people even, I'll be able to sell it. Because if people even then pirate my entire Power Live event and they'd be like, oh, you know, I'm going to put that online too for, you know, for whatever piracy reasons, at least I know that my live talk event, it will get people excited. Because like, all right, yeah, he's got some of the parts of information out there online because people already pirated Power Live, you know, event virtually. They got a copy, they bought a copy and they put it out there online. But at least I get to talk to Brad every other 2 days in a deep dive, you know, with a coaching call with maybe, and I'll put all my students in there. So, and my clients, I should say, right? So everyone that bought the Power Live event, everyone that already bought 16 Days of Power event, I would have maybe 100 to 200. And remember, you're extending outside of Builderall. You're extending outside the ambassadors. You're extending outside the affiliates within Builderall. You really could market to the entire world. So I would get as many people out there that I think that relates to power and persuasion. It's a big market. And then maybe I can have 500 people on a call and get everyone in there at one time, every other 2 days. And this just keeps expanding, and I'll start buying only Facebook ads on 2 things. You know, I'll still keep selling 16 Days of Power. You know, that will be my entry point, but I'm not going to rely too much on those sales because most of the videos are already pirated online. People already bought it and shared it. So people may even get a booted copy out there in the torrent files, or that's if your product is that good, I'm going to assume. And then I would then also buy advertisement for Power Live event that I recorded and I polished it and everything. That's my extension of 16 Days of Power. It's a deeper dive than, it's more deep than the first product. And then just keep selling hey, not only you get all these amazing things that I did for 2 hours with these 3 amazing individuals, but I'm also going to give you a 2 hour of my time every other 2 days. And guys, it's 500 people on the call. It's amazing. It's super amazing experience. And we go over a lot of things and we do a lot of Q's and A's and we push each other. And then I will start then to create a product. Remember I was talking about the product, you know, that I told you about when you're creating a product, you get to the point where you have your ambassadors and you want to do products with them. Now look at this, guys. Now I'm not even worried about people sharing my content online. You know what? You want to power rate my stuff and put it out there, go ahead, because I'm already way ahead of you. Because what I'm going to do now I'm going to focus on the 500 individuals that believe already in my product. They already learned from my product and now they became my ambassadors. I'm going to focus on their ideas and start creating a new product with them. So by the time people start sharing all my stuff there online, I'm still going to be making money at some point. Trust me, because that assembly line never is going to end. It's always going to be somebody finding the original product until they find it on YouTube or download it. But I'm also going to creating all this new product right now with these 500 people that's on my inner circle for 16 Days of Power and create new ideas with them. And I'm sure, think about this, Brad's mind with 500 people's mind. Do you think that with 500 people to 200 people to 100 people in your inner circle, you come up with some amazing shit? Man, so by that time, we become a machine. We be putting out product every week, a new product every week. So then I'll reverse engineer and do the whole thing, guys. I'll go back to the first site and say, guys, if you buy 16 Days of Power, not only you can buy 16 Days of Power right now, but I'm also going to give you the Power Live event that I did with these 3 amazing individuals on this topic. And guys, it's going to be amazing because I'm also going to give you the option to be with me live every 2 other days. And there's like 500 to 600 people on the call. It's super fire. It's like being unstoppable. But I'm also going to give you an option to get this amazing product. And then I'll start pushing the products out that I've been creating now with these 500 individuals. And they will start putting all these things online for sale. So then when somebody comes to, you know, Anita.com's website, not only she sees 16 Days of Power, the Power Live event, and it's amazing. You can start putting, you know, a product every friggin' week out there. And then you do the same thing, webinar for each one. And now you start to expand your network, bring people in, getting people for all these kind of demographics where now you're becoming your brand. And by that time, if you get to that, guys, you're ready to be out there. Remember what I told you, doing keynotes, in the press, books. And guys, I would do a book on the all of these products, right? Of all these products, transcribe everything. Now you got all these, you know, amazing stuff on Amazon. So that's where I'm going, guys. It's really endless if you have the right creative mindset, the power of creativity, which we'll cover, you know, coming up soon. And that is, guys, my end to content marketing part 3. And that is what I will do just to keep it all rolling, man. It's really an unbelievable thing. And the only thing stopping you is you, because creativity. And so who cares if they say, man, I'm going to put your stuff online. Go ahead, because I'm super way ahead of you. Because by the time you put out my stuff there, by the time you figure me out and put me in the box, I'm already out of that box. I'm already creating all of this amazing stuff for so many people.
Okay, it's awesome.
Another thing too, before I forget, remember, once I start doing these products with these 500 people, remember, they have to pay for advertisement, because by then my brand already be big. They'll be paying the advertisement for me, and then they'll be pushing my name out there and my brand. And then now you become more like, okay, man, who wants to do business with me? As long as you have 1 or 2 products going. Don't worry if they're putting it out there online. Just watch this video over and over. If you listen step by step what I said, you're going to have so many products and you don't have to worry about piracy online. Now, Davida, how are you?
I'm doing okay, but you know, when you were listening, like, and I wanted to tell you, since I do podcasting, that maybe come on, you do a Builder All Live about podcasting and how to take it in multi-purpose, because from what you were talking about today, if you remember a few years ago, before the webinars, it was the teleseminars, and they used the teleseminars as a free way to get you to come on to take a program, and they would say, oh, and if you're the first 6 people that sign up, you get this discount.
Yes. Yes.
So
another thing too, like back in the days,
concept.
Yes, like, you know, like back in the days, these marketers, remember, you used to buy maybe, you know, one of their books and they already got 2 tickets to their live event, right? You buy the book and there's already 2 tickets in there. Then you go to a website and then it gets you to reserve your spot. And that's a great little marketing strategy. Even if I would do a book now with the 16 Days of Power, I would, you know, people will either buy it at Amazon or Barnes & Nobles. If it even gets to that point, I would say, here's your 2 tickets for the 16 Days of Power event coming to the town near you. Because by that time, I already be going to all the college circles and so forth. And then they will get a generic ticket. It's already in the ticket. They will go to the 16daysofpower.com website and says, reserve your seat now. And just give them just maybe 3 tickets, you know, to really get to the event. Because by the time they get to the event, you don't have to do a pitch fest, but really put a great event, but also sell your back end products. Because if I'm going to do that event, I'm not going to rely on selling anything in terms of 16 days. I will just already focus on 3 to 4 big products that I'm already going with those 500 people, and take at least 3 to 4 products that, you know, I'll be able to push in the back end products of anything related to 16 Days of Power. But so give away the tickets. All right, if just do the live events, because if you're making so much money on your back end products, you're able to afford to go out there and do a great show. People will come in for free, but you still make money not only online that day on terms of sales your back end, but you also go into create, whether you got t-shirts, however you want to do it. Look at Tony Robbins, what he created with his brand. I'm not saying that everyone could be a Tony Robbins, but look at all his seminars and everything, the personality has became over the years. He put so many years into it, but look how, like, the culture, that he created.
Well, you almost got to remember what you're taking is building on what was a system that was done previously that's only moved from there to here because technology has changed how we do business.
Exactly, and you're so right. And the only, like, at least with my thing, if there's a simplistic way for me to say what everything that I cover within the power of the power of content is, always get to the point where you're gonna do business with your ambassadors and your live call inner circles, and start co-branding with them to create new products. That way, you don't have to worry about people pirating your content. Or, because you're going to have maybe 2 weeks of sales in the first 16 days of power that I put out there. And then if the product is that good, people are going to put it online. And then I'm going to create, the Power Live event, and people are going to parade that. And then I'm going to start creating bundle. I'm going to put the 16 days of power with the Power Live event. And then you get the calls with me. And then as I start bringing in people, I'll start doing business with them by the time. But remember, I'm just going to cover all my little obstacles just to keep the money coming in every single time. But also keep in mind, there's always going to be somebody that finds 16 days of power for the first time. Because when you're talking about persuasion, power perception, these are all stuff that everyone can relate to. We all have power perceptions. So whatever industry you're in, and you're a car salesman, you want to have how do I do the power of perception when I'm trying to sell their cars over here and sell a Mercedes-Benz dealer? The power perception. Am I going to dress great? What I say verbally. So anybody can relate to the 16 days of power. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to put it out there to the world after I already master and give everything for free to you guys here, with Builderall and everyone in 16 days of power. Then by Christmas time, I'm going to launch a book with Eric on the 16 days of power, and we're going to go straight, into Amazon with it. And then I got the college tour coming with, me and Alvaro. He's going to talk about entrepreneurship. I'll talk about empowerment to bring young people into Builderall. And then always keep that brand in terms of 16-day power expanding to get my ambassadors to do business with them. And then we all go in. Eric goes into the mainstream. Alvaro goes in. I go in. Then we'll start all these things. And Anita as well, and Davida, whatever product you got, if you got a product, I want you to come to a Builderall Live. I started doing, for Builderall Live, just get, your products out there if you have any. But this is something
I do.
Together.
I do.
I would love to have you this week.
I do a lot of entrepreneurship. That's what my podcast is on. And and that's, I'm doing the magazine on it. And it's like taking one product and multi-purposing it.
Yes, and like I said, I would love whatever you got going. Stop by next week on Builderall Live. I'll send you the link. And then, but yeah, that is the end goal right here. To get to Christmas time, have the 16 days of power out there on Amazon, and hopefully everyone that we send great value to and everything, they say, you know what? Maybe we're just going to support Brad and Eric and buy that $19.90 book. We're trying to get to the #1, on the New York Times at some point. And then we're just going to expand from there.
I was a member of a life coaching association, and the woman that started it, she was supposedly a professional speaker, but she was not real good. And what she did was she got together that she charged so much to members, they got certain things, and then she decided she would put out a book a year, and she would go to members, and you got to pay $99 to do a chapter in the book. She made the money off of the book on Amazon, and if she made everyone who submitted it buy 10 books, so it would become a bestseller on Amazon.
Yeah, think about this, right? If you add so much value and you give it for free and everything like that, and this is something anybody could do this, you could also get you can also now, you have the option to get pre-orders within Amazon's, right? So you can start getting your tribe out there to start pre-ordering this book that only comes out, you know, in December. But I'm gonna wait till like December comes along, and then like, you know, Eric and I will put the, you know, the 16 Days of Power book out there, and even maybe even if we sell it for like $5 to $6, it's not about the price. What I'm thinking about here yet is just, I'm thinking, if a culture, a bunch of people with a bunch of people following us buy it that day, it's gonna scale us up to the, you know, New York Times best list, or the top 50 on Amazon, the top 30 of that day, because the algorithm is, once people start buying it, will make us go up the list. And then from there, how do we then, you know, find different routes just to keep the brand moving? And but the whole thing is, what's the whole thing? It's about Builderall. So I want to get young people coming into Builderall, and that's why I say, Alvaro, you do the entrepreneurship, I'll do the empowerment, and then we'll CTA, call to action, come people into Builderall. But let's do this, Anita. Next week, I would love for you to stop by Builderall Live, and like you could talk about whatever product you want, and then I really want to showcase that. Okay.
It's interesting because, you know, podcasting is the way to go. It's great. You know, it's almost like if you look at where podcasting was in 2006, where was it? No one knew about it. Now everyone and their brother does podcasting. Where is digital marketing right now? And Quora, people, and I've gotten to where I'm on Medium. So I will take certain things that I answer questions to and put it as an article on Medium. And if someone reads it there, you get paid.
Yes, yes. All right, listen, you have a wonderful, wonderful evening, your Saturday evening. Thank you so much for even, you know, embrace me with your presence today. I know everyone's busy. I'm going to press stop. Let me stop the record button here, guys. And hold on, stop recording.